Hello, my dear church boys, and welcome to Saint Robert's Daygame Pickup Podcast, episode number 32. In this episode, I want to talk about how to become more fuckable. Some guys learn daygame pretty fast, while others learn it really slow. They keep struggling to get good reactions from girls. They live a simple lifestyle, have simple style, simple hobbies, and in general, they look average. Their life is pretty average. It's not that interesting. But if you improve the way you look, your lifestyle, and become a more interesting person in general, it can actually help to sleep with more girls. And in this episode, I'll talk about several ways you can become more fuckable. Before we start talking about how to become more fuckable, some updates on my travel and coaching details. I am now finishing a 2-month long day game coaching marathon, and I will be going on a non-day game vacation where I will probably not even be responding to questions in chat and stuff like that. I just want to have a bit of an off time from day game, and I will be back coaching in mid-April. Me and Mr. T, we will be going on a day game trip. I'll spend a month in a great city that shall be remained unnamed in Europe, and Mr. T will join me for a few weeks. And after that, I will go to Mother Russia because I understood that the hottest girls I usually day game are Russians. So I decided, why go for Russian tourists if I can go to the source and spend a month in Russia? And in this secret city that me and Mr. T are going to, as I've said in the previous podcasts, I will take a few students there. One 5-day spot is already booked with a student from Canada. So I have one more 5-day spot or two more 3-day spots available in that city. City is amazing for day game. It has both local chicks that are really beautiful, and it has many tourists. If we compare it to Prague, it will be a tiny bit cheaper, and since I have other students there, it will be a bit cheaper to get coaching there compared to cities where I only go for one student. So if you wanna get coaching there, then send me an email as soon as possible. And if you think you are brave enough to go to Mother Russia, and I will be in St. Petersburg, if you think you're brave enough to learn day game in St. Petersburg, or maybe if you're a Russian-speaking day gamer who wants to learn day game in Russian, because I'm fluent in Russian, then let me know and we can set something up in Mother Russia, in the source of hotness. But if I listened to this intro, it would raise a lot of red flags for me. So let's get one thing out of the way. Let's talk about inner game versus outer game versus mental masturbation, etc. So when guys say, oh, I'm gonna change my life, I'm gonna change my look, I'm gonna live this rock and roll lifestyle and chicks will come to me, that's mental masturbation bullshit. That's complete nonsense. And this is not what this podcast is about. There is inner game and there is outer game. Outer game basically means going out and doing stuff, while inner game means changing your personality, changing who you are as a person, working on yourself, meditation, goals, and all of this stuff. And the idea behind my view on inner game versus outer game is very simple. You can say, I will change myself as a person, and then it will change the way I behave, in sets, and the way I behave with girls. And maybe it's true, but you can think from the outside in. You can say, I will change the way I am as a person. I will act differently. I will open differently. I will act in sets differently. I will dress differently. I will live differently. And that will change me as a person inside. So you can start with inner game to change your outer game, which I don't think is an effective solution. It's a way to not take action. Or you can start with outer game, with the way you live, with the way you behave, and that way completely change your inner game. So this podcast will be completely about outer game, about how you can change your life to become more interesting to girls. But you might say, isn't learning day game the thing that makes me interesting to girls? That isn't that the thing that helps me get the girls? And in a way it is, and in a way it is not. I don't really subscribe to the old views of day game. When day game started, it was similar to night game in a way that it taught guys to tell fake stories, and it taught guys to use a lot of canned material, which I still teach my students. I still teach canned material, and it's important for learning. But good day game isn't being able to use canned material and fake stories and playing 5 questions game with the same questions over and over again. That's not top level day game. That's how you learn day game. Top level day game is just learning how to behave and how to be with girls. That's the next level of day game. Once you learn the structured day game, after a while you will start dropping the structure more and more and more once you get to really advanced level. Don't get me wrong, if you start without the structure, without the model, it will be very, very hard to learn day game. I know almost no one who has ever done this, and I don't think it's a good way to learn. Day game doesn't necessarily create your value. Just because you are able to open doesn't necessarily put you above everyone else in the world because you're this magical guy who has enough balls to open. A lot of guys think like that, and then they open and they see, oh, they have a reality check where a girl doesn't really give a fuck that the guy opened her, because she's being opened whether in day game, in bars, in clubs, at her university, work, etc. She has enough attention, so just because you have balls to open a girl doesn't necessarily mean much. It's good, but it's not everything. So the way I view day game is just a mechanism to deliver your existing value, to show that you are an interesting person, that you are amazing, that you are a really high value dude. That's all day game has to do. So yes, technically you can learn canned material, you can learn fake stories. I have students who copy my stories, and I try to encourage them to come up with their own stories, to work on their own material instead of just copying things someone else invented, copying stories someone else invented. Yes, you can do that and you can get success in day game, but do you want to be successful in day game by using someone else's stories, someone else's pings, or do you just want to use day game to show that you are a high value dude? And I think that's the main idea behind day game. It is to deliver your value. So what should you focus on? Should you focus on improving your day game, or should you focus on improving something else in your life, like the way you look, your lifestyle, etc.? Well, day game, in my opinion, is still number one on the list. It helps you change the way you behave with women. And once you see the success you can get with women, that just lets you see that, oh my God, if I can do this, what else can I do in my life? I had a student from Canada, from Toronto, and before we met, if I recall correctly, he had one day game lay, and while I was coaching him, while I was working him, he had a same day delay with a beautiful Brazilian chick, and then he had more lays. And him seeing that he could do this, that he could change his dating life, it was like the first step in changing his life. And now he sent me a message recently. He said, dude, day game opened my eyes to what I can do. And what he did is he handed in his resignation at work. He said, I'm going on a trip. So he's planning his trip around USA, just going around. He's starting to think about how to make his own money without working for someone, without having a 9-to-5 job. So even though you could say, oh yeah, you can build an interesting lifestyle and chicks will come to you, it's not really true. Day game still is number one on the list. That's what you should start. 80% of what you should work on should be dating skills, and 20% should be what I will be talking about on this podcast. When I started learning day game, I was just obsessed with day game. That was all I did because I had a lifestyle where I could work only a few hours a day. I had built a business that made enough money so that I could actually focus on other things in my life because I never really enjoyed working too much. So I was obsessed with day game. I was watching all the videos I could find. I was reading books. I was consuming all the content, listening to podcasts. I was going out, I was going on dates, I was day gaming. That was all I did. But I kind of had part of the lifestyle and the style and hobbies, etc., before I learned day game. If you want to be really, really good at day game, you will have to be obsessed with it. It will have to become your life priority, as it was for me and as it has been for those students of mine who have become the best day gamers. But still, you will have to do both. You will have to focus on your day game skills, and you will have to focus on changing your life, on improving yourself. And now let's look at several ways you can improve your life to really become more fuckable, to be a higher value dude, so that you can use day game to deliver actual high value that you have. And we will talk about 5 things. We will talk about style, we will talk about grooming, we will talk about fitness, we will talk about hobbies, and we will talk about lifestyle in general. And let's start with style. There are 2 ways you can change your style. Two ways you can start looking better. You can do it on your own, or you can just get a professional to help you with changing your style. And if you want to do it on your own, just go to my YouTube channel and find the video how to stop looking like a nice guy. There is a around 20 to 30 minutes long video I do with my stylist where she, as a professional, explains you what you should focus on your style if you want to look a bit more like a bad boy. So step one, definitely do that. Go over that video and think what of the things we are talking in that video you can implement in your life. But just a few things I want to suggest you outside of that video that kind of were covered in the video, but I think they are really important to talk about. Number one is think about stereotypes. Think about style in stereotypes. Look at yourself in a mirror, look at your style, and think who stereotypically dresses like that. Who wears pants like that? Who wears shoes like that? Who wears jackets like that? And if it's a boring office person, then well, you look like a boring office person. I have this very simple rule. If you can wear it to your work or to play golf, it's not a really good style. It's too polite. It's too much of a nice guy vibes. So take a look in the mirror and think stereotypically who dresses, who looks like I do. And the second thing you can do is, I really suggest this one, this is really important in my opinion. Don't dress up for day game. There are guys who wear different stuff when they go out day gaming, and I think that's kind of fake. It's just a saying, oh, when I go out I need to get in my good vibe, I need to get in the state where I can day game. No, you don't need it, because getting in the state is fake. You should be able to open and run good sets without getting in some magical state, in some magical space in your mind, in some magical, I don't know, character. And it's the same with style. If you have to change the way you dress when you go out for day game, it's fake. It means you don't actually dress like that. So instead of dressing up for day game, just change your style, change what you wear. And if at your place, if in your closet, and again, this is fucking important, if you have clothes that you wear just at home because they are kind of oldish and you can't wear them outside, or you have the t-shirt and those jeans that you will use for painting walls or anything like that, get rid of it. Get rid of those clothes. I don't have at home clothes or for painting walls clothes. I just have stuff I wear, and I will wear it at home, and I will wear it outside on a street. I will wear it when I go meet my friends for beers, or when I go to chill out somewhere with friends, like, I don't know, maybe even nature, if it's not a crazy hike where I need special equipment. So don't have that boring shit in your closet, that old stuff that you can wear at home. Just don't do it. It just says that you have to look for something nicer when you go out, when you day game. I don't think that's a good position to be in, and I prefer just wearing cool stuff whatever I do during the day, whether I'm at home or whether I'm out day gaming or whether I'm out on a date. You know, if the stuff you're wearing isn't good enough for day game or isn't good enough for date, well, maybe you shouldn't wear it at all. Here is a story from SJ, a student I coached in Chicago, and you might remember him from the podcast with the guy who spent almost $100,000 on strippers. So, SJ, when we met, you had a very American style puffy jacket, baggy jeans. What was with the shoes? Something silly as well, probably like serious type office shoes, something like that. And now you have this style with leather jacket, hoodie, much better fit jeans,
Form-fitting t-shirts.
yeah, few nice pairs of shoes, one nice sneakers and one pretty decent boots. So it's completely different. Even your mother. Can you tell your mother's story?
Yeah, absolutely. So I go to visit my mom, and as I'm leaving and I'm dressed in my new wardrobe, she stops and she's like, "Is there anything you need to tell me?" I'm like, "No." She's like, "Did you quit your job? Did you like just leave and just quit?" I'm like, "No, of course not." She's like, "Are you sure? You tell me if you did, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Why?" So she's like, "Well, your outfit, like I've never seen you dressed like this, and you look really good." I'm like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. So yeah, the leather jacket, it's a huge compliment to like my physique. I'm only 5'9", so I'm not very tall, and it makes me look thinner. It makes me look, I guess it gives me like a bad boy kind of look, and it's benefited me in crazy amount of ways. So I had a girl who looked at me like at an Apple store and was just like, "You look like a rocker. Like, are you in a band? Like, what are you into?" So, before I was wearing suits, I was wearing big baggy jackets, jeans, stuff that didn't fit my body type at all. So, what I've kind of transformed into is a kind of rougher look, but also a sharper look that really kind of looks just form fitting, and it plays better to my physique.
What have you seen in the terms of day game when you day game? Because first few days when we did the coaching, you had your old look and then you had the new one. So what did you notice?
So I noticed that I carry myself with more confidence. So, wearing what I'm wearing today versus what I was wearing before, um, I go up to girls, and when you carry yourself with more confidence, they see that too. They're like, this guy, he's hardcore, he's badass. He's not somebody I, want to fuck with, but maybe somebody I'd want to fuck.
I remember that after you changed your style and we met after taking a few days off, you had that swagger, that really baller attitude, like you were walking down the street and opening chicks in a really playerish way. We had to tone that down a bit, but it definitely took you in the right direction, and I think that's a really important point why you change your style. It's not just to look different. When you change your style, you have to have balls to do it. You have to be able to carry that look, and that changes you as a personality. So we definitely saw that after you change your style. Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah.
So if you want to change your style on your own, then as I said, go watch the video how to stop looking like a nice guy, which I did with my stylist Anna, who is responsible for my style, even sometimes for the really strange stuff that I wear that she just finds in stores and I end up loving it. And Anna has worked with many of my day game students. She has helped many of them to change their wardrobe, the way they look. And she has a very simple service that she does. It's called Lookbook, which means she hops on a video call with a student, or with, in her case, a client. She hops on a video call. She talks about his lifestyle, what he does for a living, what are his hobbies, what he's looking for in his style, and takes a look at him, takes a look at what he already has in his wardrobe, if he already has something good. And then in a week or two, she sends him a lookbook, and it's a basically a PDF ebook with different styles that would look good on the person, with explanation on where to wear which styles. For example, what to wear to work, what to wear on dates, what to wear when you go out with friends, and a list of things to buy with like pictures of buy this type of jeans, buy this type of jacket, buy this type of sunglasses, etc., etc., etc. And she puts together a complete ebook of several looks you can have. So if you decide you don't want to do this on your own and you prefer to have help, then you can use her services. If you want to do that, just shoot me an email. And if you want to shoot me an email, if you are not on a mailing list, then go to my website, strobert.blog, saintrobert.blog. Sign up for the mailing list and respond to the welcome email. I am one of Anna's biggest fans because she is my ex-girlfriend from a long time ago, and she changed the way I look. She changed me as a person. When she changed my style, it changed how I act. Because that is what happens if you change your style, all of a sudden you have to own it. If you are wearing those, I don't know, expressive boots or that leather jacket or anything else, you have to own it. You have to be able to carry it. So changing my style changed me as a person, and I'm grateful to Anna. So regardless of whether you decide to change your style on your own or by using her services, like just do something if you think you need to improve your style. If you look in a mirror and you think stereotypically this isn't the cool guy, then you probably need to change something. Most of my students have had to make some changes in their style. And the last thing I want to add on style is tattoos. If you've wanted to get a tattoo for a long time, or you've been dreaming about having a tattoo, but you cannot do it because oh my god, the world will not understand, well, go get a fucking tattoo. Obviously, don't be silly, don't just do a walk-in or don't go to a cheap place, don't look for tattoo artist that fits your price tag. Just save up your money and get some good quality tattoos, because that's something that will stay on your body for your whole life. Yes, you can remove tattoos, but actually you can remove only certain colors, and there are colors you cannot remove. The two tattoos I have are not removable, and like I could not laser them or do anything about them. They'll just not go away. So if you've been dreaming about it, and if you think tattoos are a rebel nice thing that you want on your body, find a really good artist and go get a fucking tattoo. Okay, enough about style. Now let's talk about grooming, and let's talk about several things, and we'll start with hair. If you have hair, you can do a lot of it. Get a good haircut. If you're not doing anything with it and you just walk out the door the way it is when you wake up, well, you are leaving a lot on the table. You can really change your look by changing your hairstyle, but going from a boring haircut to something more stylish will be surprisingly hard, because all of a sudden, especially if you are American, American, what I noticed when I was coaching students in USA or Canada, people there have a different upbringing. They are taught to like blend in a way. So if all of a sudden you want to change your hairstyle and make a statement, it's like a big step for a lot of people in USA and in Canada, because they've been raised to not really get in others people's way, and just to kind of blend in is kind of the term I would like to use. So it will be surprisingly hard, and you will have to own it. You go to work and all of a sudden you have a much nicer looking haircut. You're looking good, and people might ask, "What the fuck, dude? You change? Are you coming out of the closet? What the fuck is this?" And you will have to own it. And a big part of owning it will be actually styling it every fucking day. Whenever you wake up, whenever you go out, you will have to style your hair. And making a decision to have a better haircut is, again, it's changing something on the outside, but when you change it, you have to own it, and it changes you on its inside. So it's outer game that actually changes you as a person. And don't get me wrong, you don't have to get some crazy expressionist haircut. No, there are very many simple haircuts that look amazing. You can get a really good barber or really good hairdresser to take a look at you and tell you what you should do or what could you do with your hair. Of course, it wouldn't be St. Robert's podcast if I didn't say you the obvious, given that you know how I look and that you know that I have a shaved head. If you are at all if you are at all starting to lose hair and having some bald patches, or it's just starting to recede in the front of your head, just shave it off. That's it. It's scary, but it really is worth it. It will completely change the way you look, because as it was said in the book Game, you cannot go bald, but you can be bald. And I've actually shaved one of my students' hair off on my own, but when he understood that he has to do it, and when he was ready to do it. So if you're starting to lose hair, just pull the trigger and do it. Okay, and let's talk about beards. You can do a lot with a beard. First of all, you can change the shape of your face with a beard. If you need to have it rounder, you can do it with a beard. If you need to have more if you need to add more angles, like have sharper edges on your face, boom, you can do that with a beard. Get a really good barber to take a look at you, or ask Anna if you are working with her one-on-one. Just ask, hey Anna, what should I do with my hair? What should I do with my beard? You can do a lot with changing your beard and with changing your hairstyle. And okay, the third thing is body hair. Like look at your body hair. Like, is there something you should remove? Is there something you should trim? That's something you can really look in the mirror in the bathroom and think about it. Like, because I do a lot of things. Uh, I do a lot of things with my body hair, and it just kind of changes the way you look. Like trimming, just making shorter the hair on your abs. It just makes your abs look better. Leaving a bit more hair on your chest makes your chest look bigger. So you can again make small adjustments, and I don't know. Others will say, "Oh my God, you fucking gay! What the fuck are you doing?" Yeah, well, actually, that's not really how I view it. If you want to look good, then you have to really take care of yourself. And the last thing I want to talk about when it comes to grooming is eyebrows. If you have fucked up eyebrows like I do, or even if you have a unibrow, then get it done, go to a specialist and ask them to fix it. Uh, I suggest doing it by wax. It's much less painful if they do it by wax actually. So that's what I do. I just find a good place and I say to them, hey, do your job. And when they ask me, oh, do you want like it like this, or do you want it like this? Do you like it like this? I just tell them, listen, just don't make me look gay. Do your work because you're this expert. You know what you're doing. I have no idea about what it is you're doing. So just do your job, do your magic, and make me look hot. And they will know what to do. Don't worry about it. And of course, I don't think I have to mention things like nails, like keep them trimmed, etc., etc. Those are small things that we shouldn't even think or talk about. So that's all I wanted to say about grooming. So get your hair done, get your beard done, look at what you can do, should or shouldn't do with your body hair, fix your eyebrows. Again, this will change a lot. Mystery, in one of his books, he said something about the lines, you don't just have to look good, you don't have to groom good, you have to groom really, really good, like spectacularly good. And that's how I view grooming. Next, let's talk about fitness. And there's just one thing I want to say about fitness. I'm not a fitness expert. I'm not super fit. I'm not ripped at all or anything. But I'm not fat, or I'm I'm kind of in the middle. I'm in an okay shape. Let's put it like that. And the only thing I want to say is, if you hate lifting or if you hate running, like, don't fucking do it. That's the only tip I can give you. Find something you like. That's why I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and grappling. I just like it, and it's better than sitting at home if you have a free evening. It's better than sitting at home watching Netflix and eating fucking junk food. Instead of doing that, I just find a group activity that's fun for me, that's something I'm interested in, and I go do it. So if you don't like lifting weights, for me that's just boring, or running. I hate running. So I chose to find something that I enjoy and just did it. So whatever it is that you like from sports that you think is fun, go fucking do it. That's it. And the fourth way to make yourself more fuckable is have interesting hobbies. And a lot of people, all they do in their life is they go to work, then they go to gym, and then maybe the day game, and that's about it. So my question is, what do you do in your life apart from work, gym, and day game? What makes you excited in life? What are you thinking? What are you geeking out on in the evenings or on the weekends on the internet, googling and exploring? What are those things? Those things can be really interesting hobbies. Of course, if we're talking about fuckability index, then playing chess or golf on your free time is not really something hot. Maybe you like playing chess or playing golf and you're amazing at it and you really love it. Well, sure, okay, keep doing it. It's like, I'm not the guy who's gonna tell you to stop doing it, but stereotypically, think about stereotypes. Who does those hobbies? Are those the most interesting and the most rock and roll people in the world? And yes, maybe there are day gamers who get great results and they like chess or golf, but they are an exception. You can be an exception when you can prove it with your day game results. So if your results, and by the way, if you play chess and golf, come on, don't get offended, don't be a little kid. Yeah, it could be any other boring sports that I could have chosen. It's just because I used to play golf, and a lot of day gamers actually play chess. So I'm just making fun of the things that I see around me. So if you want to have a little bit more rock and roll vibe, a little bit more, I don't know, bad boy side, well, maybe change the hobbies you do, or take up some hobbies. And why am I talking about hobbies? Will taking up a new hobby help get you laid? Well, probably not. But is there something you are really, really interested in? Something you watch, something you explore in the evenings? Something that would make yourself a much more interesting personality if you actually did it. Taking up a new hobby won't help you get laid. But if instead of following MMA you started doing it, it might make your life more interesting, or and rock and roll, or maybe rock climbing or playing guitar. Think about how a new hobby might make you more fuckable as a person. how a fuckable style, how fuckable grooming, look fuckable in the mirror, and how fuckable hobbies. And this brings us to having a fuckable lifestyle. Does your life consist of going to work at 9 a.m. and leaving office at 5 p.m. and going home, plus maybe doing a few day game sessions per week? Well, I don't think that's anyone's dream life. So think, what do you want to do in your life? What do you want your lifestyle to be? Maybe you want to travel more. Maybe there is a specific destination you want to visit. Maybe you want to go to Colombia or Thailand or Prague or New York City. Maybe you haven't ever taken a day game trip and it's time to fucking go and try to get laid in a foreign country. Or maybe you like music and you just want to go to a Rammstein concert because you've always wanted to do and you just don't do shit like that. Maybe if you are in a place where that's legal, smoke your first big fat joint or go tripping on magic mushrooms. Whatever it is that you like, do some other fun things. What could a more rock and roll version of your lifestyle look like? I can guess that for a lot of listeners, if you aren't yet traveling for day game, that would be going to a different location for day game. That might be, if you are American, it might be going to New York. Or if you are living in New York, it might be taking a trip to South America for day game, or to Europe, meet other day gamers there. If you are from Europe, it could be going to other really good day game cities, doing some crazy day game trip with your day game buddies, or preferably, much better, doing it on your own, or doing it on your own and meeting other day gamers from our group chat somewhere else in the world, because we have right now over 160 day gamers from all over the world. You can basically go to any continent and meet other guys from our group chat. Maybe that's a thing that would make your lifestyle more rock and roll. Now you have 5 areas you can improve to become more fuckable. More fuckable for girls and more interesting guy to other people, and have more freedom for yourself. I don't suggest you try to improve everything at once. That doesn't usually work. This can be just another thing you didn't do in your life, so be careful with this. Or it can be something that was a start of a whole new life, like I told about the student in Toronto, Canada, who did 5 day residential with me, or rather 5 day boot camp with me, learned day game, got his first day game lays, and decided, if I can do this, I can do so much more. And boom, handed in his resignation at work and started planning his online endeavors, how to make money online, how to work, not work for someone else, how to work for himself, and go on a trip across USA. Maybe you can do something like that. But right now, I want you to think, what is one thing you can do now? And I really mean right now. What is one thing you can do today? Maybe if you want to go on a day game trip, you can book a flight. Maybe you can get a lookbook to change your style. Maybe if you are starting to lose your hair, if you are kind of balding, maybe you can do the thing that you know you should do, and that several of my students have done after working with me. Because as Style said in his book, The Game, he said, you cannot go bald, but you can be bald. I think Mystery said it to him or something like that. Well, shave your fucking head off if you are, shave your fucking hair off if you're losing hair. Maybe you want to get a tattoo. Boom, find a good artist, get a booking today. Know when, because when you book a good artist, your date will be several months ahead. So what can you do today? Maybe you can go to Canada or to Amsterdam and smoke a big fat joint if you haven't done that, and that's something that will make your life more rock and roll. So seriously, right now, think, what is one thing that you can do today to make your life more rock and roll. And whatever it is you decide to do, I'm really interested to finding it out. So send me an email and tell me what it is that you decided to change, and tell me what is the first real step you took to make your life more rock and roll, to become more fuckable. And with all this being said, I will upload this podcast and I will go out to do my last coaching session in this 2 month long day game coaching marathon that I had both in Europe, in Canada, and USA, and now again in Europe. And I will be getting ready for my day game vacation, or rather non-day game vacation. I am going off to Malta to stay with a student of mine for a few days just to chill out and just go to Morocco, learn surfing, explore Morocco, see what it has to offer for a few weeks before I go on a trip with Mr. T to a secret location in Europe. And as I've said before, I have several coaching spots left, but before I go to Russia, and I go to Russia late May. So from mid-April to mid-May, I will be available for coaching. I have several guys who are interested but haven't paid the reservation fee yet. So one of the 5 day spots is still open. So I have room for one more 5 day spot or three more 3 day spots in a city where I am going in mid-April with Mr. T and with a student from Canada. So if you wanna take your day game to the next level in a city that is great for day game, has a ton of tourists, then shoot me an email as soon as possible and see you there.